Hello, everybody. Hello, we shut that down. I'm trying to get some people on here so I can tell some encounters. So if y'all online, jump on and I'm going to tell some encounters live. Sorry about that, Lou, but it had for some reason it had cut off. I don't know why, so I uploaded what we already had. But if I can get some people in here now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell some encounters on this live stream. If y'all want to hear that. And I know why a lot of people didn't show up, because you got some people out there that don't like Vic. And I know that's one of the reasons, but it's cool though. Hello everyone. We shut it down. It cut off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till some people come in here and I'm gonna tell some encounters on live stream. Me and you gonna go live tomorrow, if that's okay. So we're gonna see if we can get some more people on here, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell some encounters. So we're gonna see if we can get some people on here, so I can do these lives. I mean these encounters, and these new encounters too, y'all. So we're gonna see if we can get some people in here. Like I told you, people don't like Vic, so they probably was telling their members don't show up because he going over there on Marvin's channel. But that's okay though, because we still blessed. That still ain't gonna stop us from doing what we need to do. We're gonna continue to do it. And I'm grateful that y'all showed up. Wait a minute, I'm going through it. Yeah, but that's the reason. I want to get some more people in here so I can tell the encounters. A few more people that want to listen. If y'all can post them in a group and tell them that we still live, but we doing encounters if they want to hear them. I just hate cruddy people though. I do. I really do. And it hurts sometimes. Thanks for not showing up and supporting me. I think some of them bitches told their. Hold on, y'all. My bad. I was just texting something. Not to come to my live because Vic was on it. And I know that's what they did. Because we should have had a bigger turnout. But it's okay and it's cool. They better hope my name don't slip out none of their mouths. Or my channel. Or about why people didn't show up. Because I got something for all of them. We're going to try to see if we can get some people in to listen to them. I didn't see you, but it's okay. Trying to see if we can get some people, y'all. 3 more people. So I can start. We're gonna give it a few more minutes. And if don't no more people show up, just let me know. If y'all want me to just start telling the encounters. Y'all could let me know if y'all just want me to just do the encounters straight out, and I just go ahead and do them, and then upload it. Put a 1 up when y'all ready. Louis, you ready? You ready, Louis? Let me know if you ready. Let me know if you ready, Louis. All right, let's get into this. We ain't gonna wait no longer. As you know, anonymity is a must. And I breaks that for no one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this encounter. Now this encounter right here was sent in to me by eyewitness. And it comes from out of the South. Now my eyewitness said he used to do a lot of things. Running, lifting weights. But the one thing that he liked doing most is riding his bike. So he didn't live not too far from one of these parks or wooded areas. So he would jump on his bike and go riding on the trails. He would ride and he would go to this spot where he always say he used to go to, and he would just sit. He would just sit just to think. So right before it was about to get dark, because he always left before it got dark, he noticed that everything in his vicinity got dead quiet. I mean, you couldn't hear nothing, not a sound. So he stands up and he looks around because he said to himself, this kind of strange. So he goes over and he grabs his bike. And he turns the bike around and he pushes it back up over on the trail. He gets on his bike. He gets ready to pedal. That's when he hear this sound. And the sound he heard was like a moan growl. He said he really can't like duplicate it or say how it sounded, but he said it sounded like a moan growl. He said, but it was low and it was powerful. So he looks around, but he don't see nothing. So he gets on his bike and he starts to pedal. He starts to ride the trails to go back and leave out and go home. So he pedaling and he riding. And as he riding, he can hear what sounded like to him something running behind him. And he said it was running fast. So he stops, push on the brakes tight. And when he did that, whatever was running behind him did the same thing because the steps stopped. You couldn't hear nothing. So he stands there. He turns and he looks behind him. And he scans left to right, left to right. He sees nothing. Just when he had turned around and getting ready to pedal off, is when he hear the sound of something heavy. He said it was like it took one step. And twigs and sticks and leaves on the ground. Crack! He hears it. He turns around. And when he turns around this time, he looks and he sees this creature standing on his hind legs just outside of the path. And it looks right up at him. Now, mind you, he said he know for a fact that he wasn't that far from this creature. So he looks at this thing that shouldn't exist. This is what's going through his mind. This is what he's saying. He's saying this thing shouldn't be here. And he looks at this creature. And he say this creature was massive. He said this creature was cut up. He said this creature had muscles. And he said the head on this creature was so large that it was larger than a bear, with broad shoulders, pointed ears, canine legs, with a tail. And I said, you sure this thing had a tail? He said, I'm positive because I seen it move. So he turns around slow and he begins to pedal. He pedaling and he starts to go fast. That's when he can hear this creature right behind him. He makes it to the front of the wood line, goes out, makes a U-turn, turns around and he looks. When he turns around and he looks, he was about 15 to 20 feet from this creature, staring right at him. And then it bared all its teeth. He said like it wanted him to see what he had in his mouth. And he said all of them was sharp. Said he watched this creature for about 30 seconds. He got off his bike and he started to walk. But he kept his eye on this creature. But that creature never moved. It stayed in that one spot, watching him. So he leaves, he goes home. He sit down, he thinking about what happened and what he saw. And he's saying to himself, should he take his friend out there with him? But he said he had a conscience. He said he didn't want to do that because if something was to happen, he would feel guilty because he can prevent it by not saying nothing. He said about 2 weeks later, because he didn't go back the next day or the day after that or the day after that. He said 2 weeks later he would go back. Daytime when he went, about after 2 to ride his bike. So he gets there and he starts to ride the same way he always goes. But when he came where he had to turn at, it was a large tree sitting, laying across that path, that trail. It was so large that he couldn't move it. He couldn't do nothing. But he was thinking to himself, should he go any further? Should he go back to the spot that he always go to? Or should he just turn around and leave? So he said that's what he did. He left. The next day he would get up and he would go back. But this time, he said he would take a different trail, a different path. So that's what he did. He gets there, he get on his path, and he starts riding. Now, mind you, at this time, he said you can hear all animal life. He said you can hear everything. So he riding, still hearing the animals. He get to this spot, but it's a different one. He get to this spot where it's like a ravine, like you go down, like the wood line go down. And he stops there, get off his bike, put his kickstand on it. And he leans against the tree and he just look. But mind you, he said you could still hear the animals, the insects. He said you could still hear all of that. So he said after about 10 or 15 minutes, it happened again. Dead quiet. Not a sound. Not a chirp. Not one cricket making any kind of noise. So he say to himself, it's happening again. That thing must be around. It's happening again. So he leans up off the tree and he looks. He looks down that ravine. And when he looks down that ravine, he said he sees something looking right up at him. And this went different. It's not the same creature. Because the first one he said he seen was black. This one was brown. So he watched this creature from up on the top of that ravine. And he looks down at it. And when it looks back up at him, it starts to sniff. And my eyewitness said it was sniffing hard. Then bam, bam, it looks right back at him again. And then it started to walk up that ravine. He grabs his bike, turns it around, start running and pushing with it. He said about time he got to the end where you got to turn at and then go up, he sees that creature at the top of that ravine. And it's walking in his direction. It's walking towards him. Now it's following him. My witness jumps on his bike and he's pedal. He pedal. He pedaling. He pedaling to get out of there. Then he said he's seen this creature do something. And these his words that defy physics. He said he's seen this creature just out of nowhere start to take leaps. Boom, 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 boom. He said this thing was just leaping. And every time it leaped, it would leap in a different direction, land, and then leap again. He makes it to the front of the tree line and goes straight out there with his bike. He stops and he turns around. When he turns around, that creature was there again at the beginning of the tree line. He said he's looking at it and he could see this creature breathing heavy like just out of breath. He could see the chest and the muscles just flexing on it, in and out. This creature breathing with his tongue hanging. My witness said he don't know what to do now. He said because it's more than one of these creatures. He said it's like a family. He jumps on his bike and he leaves. He gets home. He tells no one again. He didn't go back to that park for the rest of that year. He stayed away from that area because he said when he came face to face shouldn't exist. So I hope y'all like that encounter. If y'all want to hear one more, let me know and put up the ones. Put up the ones if y'all want to hear one more. One more. If y'all want to hear one more, put up the ones so I can start it. Put up one more. Y'all want to hear one more? All right, I got y'all. Y'all know I do as always. As you know, anonymity means a lot to me. And I breaks that for no one. For the most part, I'm grateful for everyone that sends in their encounters to give me to narrate for them, and I'm blessed, you know, and I got the best subscribers and pack members in the game. I love y'all so much. So, without further ado, let's jump right in to this encounter. This encounter right here, it happened. It happened in a small town in North Carolina. One of them real small towns. I won't get a name, but it was a real small town. Everybody know everybody, you know, and they only have like two stores of this here, two filling stations. You know, a small town like that. So my eyewitness said that she was going to a basketball game with her and some of her friends. So she gets herself together, a friend come pick her up, and they goes to the game. After the game, her friend told her, and these was her exact words, she say, let's go to this place where Mr. Jacob said he seen some type of werewolf thing. I just want to go up there to see if it's true. So my eyewitness told her, no, I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there. That man still ain't right to this day. Because everybody belittled and told him that it wasn't no such thing. So they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, she talks her into going. But my eyewitness said that I'm staying in the car, I'm not getting out. So her friend said, okay, you don't have to get out. So my eyewitness friend and her boyfriend decided to walk in that area where my eyewitness seen this creature. So they did. My eyewitness says she's sitting in the car, time just going past, and they not back. She says she falls asleep. And when she falls asleep, she was woke up by something. And what she was woke up by was tapping sounds on the glass. Tat, 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 tat. So she turns, rub her eyes, and she looked. And when she turned and looked, she see this massive head staring at her through the window. And it's looking right at her. She said this thing had glowing yellow eyes, or they seemed like they glowed. So she looking, and this thing just looking and staring at her. Then she looked out the window, the front window, to see if she see them. She still don't see them. And now it's almost completely dark. And she there by herself. She said that's when this creature tried to open up her door. And she's saying to herself, how would it open the door? You would need a hand to do that. This is what's going through her mind. This is what she's saying now. She said when that creature couldn't open the door, she said it seemed like it got mad and frustrated. And then it stood up bipedal on its hind legs. It walks around the car twice. The third time, it stopped right there at the driver's side door. She's still watching this creature. Then she looked out the front window again. And when she looked out the front window this time, she could see somebody coming up out of this small trail in the wood line, because she see the light, and the light gotta be coming from their phone. So she see them walking up. She said, all of a sudden, all you heard was, what the get away from my... She said that thing dropped down on all fours and bolted. They runs up there, opens up, get in the car, and they say, what the was? She said, I think it was that thing that the old man seen. So she said, come on, let's get out of here. They left, went their separate ways. My eyewitness said that she would be home one weekend by herself. She said she ate and did all that and went in the front room and decided to find her a good movie on Netflix. So that's what she did. She's sitting down and she watching the movie. As she's watching the movie, she hear what sounded like V breathing. So she looks over at the window. She still can hear the heavy breathing. So she gets up and she walks over there, pulls the curtain back. And when she did that, the creature was staring right at her. It's looking right at her through the window. She's staying there. She can't move. Now she froze. And she's scared. And the thing that struck her the most was she couldn't get out her head is Why me? Why is this thing at my house? She looks at this creature and she said, without a doubt, this is the same one that was at the side of her car. Like this thing followed her home. But now she's saying is, how? How could this thing knew where I live at? Boom. Then she say, did this thing pick up on my scent? The windows was up. So how did this creature know where she lived at? She kept saying, did it follow me? Because all these thoughts is going through her head now because she don't know. She's just standing there watching this creature. She said, and that's when this creature raised his hand and it tapped on the window again. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. She looks at it. And it looks at her. And she said this thing looked at like it grinned right in her face. She said that's what it looked like to her. That this thing was smiling. Because it knew she was scared. Because it knew that she was terrified. She said after about a minute or two, that creature took 2 steps back. And as it did that, it started to fade out in the night. Until it got far enough back, all you could see is a silhouette and those glowing yellow eyes. She quickly closed the curtain. She quickly closed the curtain and walked over and just sat back down in her chair. She's thinking about how this creature knew where she lived at. So that was her encounter. Hope y'all like that. I'm gonna go live again tomorrow. So be sure to show up. I just wanted to get y'all them encounters and y'all had something to listen to. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload it so other people can hear it too. But I wanted to let y'all know that we will be going live tomorrow, so tune in and check that out. So I wanted to say good night to everybody, and I'll see y'all tomorrow on the next True Doug Man Encounters. Let's get it. Good night, y'all.